Well, hey, everybody. This is Mark Boyle. I'm just checking to see if my microphone is working, and it should be. And let's see. Yep, it's the little gauge is moving. And then just a camera test to see what this camera looks like on this little Chromebook. It's a Lenovo. It's kind of nice. I mean, it's better than nothing. So I thought I'd go live, test it out because I can't go live on my phone because, well, I don't have enough subscribers and shit like that. So from this point of view, it looks pretty all right. Um, let's see what this thing is telling me here. Got a lot of stuff. New managing monitors can't support. Close that crap. All right, so I guess that would be the chat up here. So if anybody wants to say hi, Mark, what the fuck you been up to? That's fine. I think this is going out to pretty much everybody, but at least on my subscribers. It's Wednesday. People are probably working. I mean, most people have a day job, and it's 1:30 here in Arizona, so you're probably back to work. So we all got a Thanksgiving coming up, which would be nice. That's next week, next Thursday. We're going to be closed here all week. I was hoping I could go do some fun stuff, but I noticed that there's a honeydew list with my name on it, and just camping and screwing off is not on that list. Normally in the wintertime, there should be a lot less yard work to do, right? So anyway, you know what? Even though this is a test, I'm going to chat a little bit about some of the stuff I've been watching in the news, with Ukraine wanting to reach out and touch Putin a little bit closer, which is, just a stupid idea. They've lost the war. I don't know if they're just like running up and slapping the bear or something like that. And my philosophy with bears in general are you could probably, you or I could probably, get our arms around the neck of a big, brown bear or grizzly bear or even small black bear, and you could probably choke it out given enough time. But you're going to bleed out and die before that happens. And that's the same thing with Ukraine. So, what the fuck are you going to do? They're going to lose. It's a foregone conclusion. Everything else that's going on with Israel and all that. And I'm not here to take sides right now because I just think the whole thing is just fucking bullshit. And, I'm Christian. I love Jewish people. I don't like Zionists. I can read. It's kind of my superpower to actually read, history and stuff like that and go, oh, well, it looks like the Jewish people have been kind of assholes for about 3,000 years. That doesn't mean that they can't have land or a place they can call home. But come on, get real. Play with your neighbors a little bit fucking nicer. So what all this boils down to is with BRICS and Russia and China and Taiwan and all this crap and, Biden just leaving all kinds of turds in all the bedrooms basically of life for Trump. He's doing the same thing with Ukraine and these, ATACMS missiles. So I did a podcast. I haven't got it all edited out yet. But I was just talking about prepping, and I did get a little sidetracked. But the main point of that one was it's like how well prepared are you? Excuse me, geez. And so I was thinking, me, I'm 70. So what is my expiration date? Because my born on date was 1954. So best used by was quite a while ago. And now I'm just kind of running on borrowed time. So if I get 10, 15 more years, that would put me at 85, 86. That's pretty much my family history. I ate a little better than they did. So maybe I'll die sooner. Maybe I'll die later. Fuck, I don't know. But I noticed like when you're thinking about preps, everything on them have an expiration date. Your batteries, your comms, everything that takes batteries will only work as long as you have batteries. So if you go out and buy batteries right now and they got a 10-year expiration date, they'll hold out for 10 years. Well, if things are really bad, will you be able to replace those? Will you be able to run to Circle K if that's even around, or a Quickie Mart, and buy new batteries, or Walmart, or whatever? The more you look at industries and stuff, how they've come and gone in the world and history, um, you might not be able to buy all your batteries and stuff. So, you know, why are you prepping for something that is not going to be long term enough? So if you can live off grid and get completely away from solar eventually and all of that stuff, and just live like they did in the 1700s, you'd be in pretty good shape. It would suck. Didn't suck for them because that was pretty nice living back then, but for now it would suck. So we spend a lot of time as preppers looking into um, all these beans, band-aids, and bullets and stuff. And I just wonder, is a lot of that thinking kind of a fool's errand? But we don't know how bad it will end. So I guess if you do have a pile of beans, band-aids, and bullets, you'd be fine if it was just a normal collapse and stuff, long-term power outage, or something bad happens like that. But if it's an EMP, then it could be years and years and years, and that to where you could ever get anything again. So it'd almost be like being transported right now back 150 years. And then all of a sudden, there you are on your homestead still, but you can't sit there and go, your shit, I don't, my battery's died. Your neighbors would go, what's a battery? So, mindset wise, you need to be in that thinking. It's like, will I survive worst case scenario? The worst, completely. Time machine back 150 years. So, your electronics, nothing's going to work that's tied into the way we live now. So, you kind of got to look at it that way. It's like, what do I need, and how long does it need to last? And gasoline, all that has a short expectation of life. Basically, gas, well stored, maybe 3 years, maybe four. Diesel, longer, but eventually everything runs out. If you got it, four or five, jerry cans full of diesel, that's 25 gallons. When we're using our tractor, we can go through that in a couple weekends. Then what? So my urge, for this coming year, 2025, is start planning like it's 1800s. To where, I don't know, the movie Open Range with Robert Duvall and Kevin Costner, where he's like, maybe I'll move to the city when I retire, because he goes, I always got a roof over my head, out of the rain, and a warm meal in a restaurant, because they lived out on the range. If you lived out on the range, you'd probably be longing for, cowboy town restaurant, hot coffee, beans, kerosene lamps, whatever. So we need to start looking at it that way. Is worst case scenario. I'm sure most of us preppers, unless you're really a newbie, have enough to make it through the worst. And actually, I guess if you were a newbie, you might be better off if you're really good at camping, making fires, and doing without, hunting, trapping, a little bit like that, fishing. Because you're not going to be sitting there going, gee, I wish I had my radio. I wish I had some comms. I wish my night vision batteries hadn't died. So younger newbies might be in a better position, to pull it off. Because their expectations are really low when things fall apart. Once they figure out things are falling apart and their normalcy bias just fades the fuck away, they'll be like, well, I guess this is my new reality. So I'm not seeing anyone jump on or out or give me a thumbs up or whatever. But, you know, I'm here live. I think that's the one that's showing is moi. Um, but put a comment on there if that one or two over there, which I've never gone live too much on YouTube. About a year or so ago, I tried it, but I was having some equipment problems. So if there's a human out there, do a thumbs up emoji comment on the comments and let me know, if some of these live things would be better. It saves me from editing a lot of shit. Now that is all regarding prepping. Now, the channel is DIY Prepper Guy for one reason is because I believe skills are very important. And the best way to pick up skills for prepping into the world, any scenario, is to do things yourself. So if you're at that point in life where you're having work done for you because you don't know how or you're busy, try to get to, contractors don't really charge you extra if you just hang out and watch, as long as you're not asking them a million questions and stopping them from working. But as they, take a break or something like that, go, I was noticing that you were, doing the drywall that way. Why is that? Because I know like in kitchen walls with cabinets, they don't just put the drywall pieces together at 4 feet, just stack them. They'll put one up in the middle and then they'll have a filler at the bottom and the top. And that's one guy was telling me, he goes, well, that way you have a nice flat surface for your backsplash. They don't do it in the whole house. It's just on those two walls that the blueprints show there'll be cabinets. And I see, it's like, oh, that's kind of fucking cool because putting tiles sometimes on a wall that's got a bow in it like this, and then here's your drywall rocking around. Well, your tile would be doing that at that joint. So just ask, sit around, talk to them. Don't ask to help or nothing like that, or is there anything I can do? Because they work 10 times faster without, explaining shit. But just watch. You can absorb a lot of information through osmosis, especially if you're watching videos on it. If you're going to have an electrician come to your house and rewire maybe an addition or something, watch a bunch of videos on electrical work. And then while you're watching him work, the things you saw and you're seeing, and then you ask a question, it's like, oh, I watched a video on that the other day. That's what that meant. And usually, unless they're just uppity asshats, they'll say yeah, as long as you're not stopping them from working and getting their job done. Well, yeah, that's what that meant. And they might even go see how this does that, and this is how we make up the box so we can get all them wire stuff back in there with your light switch. It's just an art form. And so I know when I was in college, I was always like 2 weeks ahead on my homework. Because then that way, when I went into the lecture, the beginning of that next week, work, he would be lecturing and talking about amortization loans or, an income summary. Well, everyone else is like, what's that? And they're flipping pages and stuff. I had already read that and tried to do it. Now, it was before YouTube, so that would have been really handy. So when I was asking the teacher questions, it's like, well, what do you mean by when you do this and that? The teacher knew that I had already tried to do that homework. He's like, you're already doing the homework. It's like, yeah, because then if I grapple with it, once you explain it, I get it quicker than if you're here explaining it to me. And then I go home and grapple with it. I don't have anyone to ask this stupid question to. So treat your skill level that way. We're all probably pretty good at camping and we're fishing or little bit of trapping or hunting and whatever it is, bushcraft stuff like that. We like doing that. But what about skills, just like DIY stuff? If you got to replace a window because it's leaking, or you got to fix a door that's not working right, or you want to shore up your house a little bit more security. So learn all that. Learn it, because doing things yourself, learning how to can yourself, learning how to skin yourself, all those things are skills that are DIY that you can learn now while the world is still working. And if you have a question or a problem, you can look up a YouTube video and pick up on it really quick and go, oh, wow, cool. So that's the time. Now is the time, because when shit hits the fan, or there's a Tiatwaki moment, which is the end of the world as we know it, it's too late to go, load up YouTube and watch a video on it. You'd have to go find an abandoned library somewhere and look up that book and read it. And it's probably 10, 15 years old, and the technology is completely different. So they're talking about doing things a different way than you've ever heard of or seen. So now is the time to prepare. Regarding Tiatwaki, the end of the world as we knew it, that always has something to do with kind of like shit hit the fan on a Armageddon post-apocalyptic thing. But if you think about it, what would be the end of the world as you know it right now? Well, you're going to get up in the morning and go to work. You got a meeting. You got a presentation to give. You know that your boss's check is going to clear the bank. So then you can make your payments and all that. But what happens if you hurt yourself really bad and you can't work anymore? Then you can't work. You can't pay your bills. Your wife can't cover expenses, or she can't go back to work because she's been taking care of the kids for the last 2 years. That is the world as you knew it. And now it's changed. So it's the end of the world, that world as you knew it. So it doesn't have to be just a crash and burn stock market fucking horrible thing. It can be just breaking your leg, getting hurt real bad where you can't work. Having your wife get hurt really bad where, she's not going to be able to be home, helping out with whatever it is that she does in this family unit nowadays, because it takes 2, sometimes 3 incomes to make ends meet nowadays. So it could be anything. Something happens to one of your children, a fucking lawsuit, a million things can be the end of the world as you knew it. So you want to be prepared for that, have money reserves a little bit, be able to at least be able to pack up and move out if you have to quick enough before they repo everything and your furniture too. You just don't know. And that's what prepping's always been for me, is the uncertainty. Will the world end in a catastrophic way, like with an EMP or Armageddon or biblical revelation stuff? I don't know. I thought it would for a long time, and it seemed like it was going to happen a few times, but here we are. Maybe not. Maybe our economy will just collapse. They revalue our dollar to where instead of it being worth $1, 100 pennies, it's worth 3 pennies. Well, now it takes a whole lot more to buy a loaf of bread. And that's what happened in the Weimar Republic and all that. It's just a revaluation of reality. It's the end of your dollar as you knew it. And so would it recover really quick? Maybe not. What's really quick in an economic collapse when 300 million people have lost their job, and maybe comms are down now, or communications, or something else bad happens? That's a long time, pretty quick. Pretty quick could mean like 6-8 months before they get to your town to restore whatever it is, get the dollar up and running again, find a new system of exchange. Your community might go, well, we're not using crypto. Fuck that. Excuse me. So, pushing close to 20 minutes, and this was just going to be a test. So Seems to be working good. Take a moment to subscribe and like this, even though it was really about nothing other than me testing the ability and my internet at this location to how well it's going to work. I think I might. I do a lot of them on my phone here at work and stuff, but I think I'll do some live ones here. Um, it may be slow for a while because it's always slow through the holidays, Thanksgiving to Christmas through New Year's, and then boom, it picks up again. But sometimes it's hard to do that on a live thing because I just can't hit pause and walk off because you guys are all standing around going, where the fuck did he go? So hopefully the audio is picking up good. And if the whole thing sucks and the image quality is kind of bad from the other end, when I watch it, if the audio is bad, then I'll just delete this. But subscribe, like the comment, the video, even though, I'm not going to expect you to share it because it's really just a rambling fireside drunken chat session, but I'm not drinking. So I think being a prepper has always been kind of taboo back in the days. Now it's pretty good. But when you really think about what could happen on so many levels, it's a good thing to be ready for the end of the world as you knew it. I've seen people in my community here lose loved ones because this is a military thing, and some of the guys didn't come back. They gave all. And the wife and the kids weren't really prepared for that. And sure, the military steps up a lot for their families, but it's just devastating. So have a plan, be prepared, be ready. And when the shit hits the fan, hopefully it's just little rabbit turds and not just some horrible poop. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.